Nelly Furtado is a Grammy Award-winning artist who stepped away from the English music scene 6 years ago. But in September, she'll release her 5th studio album, The Spirit Indestructible.
Yeah, and in a moment, Nelly will perform on the AM soundstage, but first she's here to tell us about her new record and the royal performance that prompted Prince Harry to send a personal note of thanks. I love it. Welcome, by the way. Thanks for stopping in.
Thanks for having me. Great to see you,
Let's
too.
start right there with the concert for Diana back in 2007. What a thrill that must have been, and I guess the princes liked what you did.
Yeah, I was personally invited by them to perform at their mother's special concert, and it was fabulous. I'll never forget it. I really felt like her spirit was there. Her presence was definitely there, and walked out. I think it was Wembley, Wembley Arena or Wembley Stadium, and yeah, it was a great energy, great show.
Do you get nervous? I mean, it was such an occasion.
There they are jamming.
I know, look at that.
That's great. Yeah. You do. You get a little nervous. Yeah, I think I've managed to conquer that over the years. I mean, when I started out, I'd never really been on TV before, I grew up playing instruments. So my first time on like late night TV on Letterman or Saturday Night Live, I was like a deer in the headlights, just going, oh my God, what do I do? But then, with time you get your stripes, you really, you get better. Yeah.
We've been covering the Diamond Jubilee all morning this morning. It's been quite the royal morning here. You've said, though, you've gone on the record and said that Canadians really value the tradition of the royal family. How so, do you think?
Well, definitely. Well, I grew up in Victoria, of course, British Columbia, so we're really surrounded by it growing up, and it's quite a great thing. It's nice to grow up with that tradition. It's nice to grow up with that heritage, and I mean, we really respected and looked up to people and icons like Princess Diana, for instance, or the Queen. So yeah, times like this, I think all Canadians kind of feel it somewhere in their heart, for sure.
Tell us a little bit about the album, the brand new album, and the approach, because it's a kind of a very positive, celebrate type of album.
Definitely. I think I've come full circle that way, where this album just feels like I've just really matured, I think, as an artist. But the album, ironically, just feels very young and fresh. And I think it's a real celebration. It's called The Spirit Indestructible, and the sound ranges, it's very much a pop album, like all my albums, unified by my voice, I think, is the thread there, and the songs. But it ranges from pop, dance, rock, there's a little bit of everything. But overall, it's just a really raw and fun vibe. But I've never been more thrilled for an album release.
That's great.
And it's good to have you back.
You've
been missed, and you've also been very open, Nelly, about why you walked away for the years that you did. Tell us about that. Tell us about what life was like and how you're probably stronger now because you did.
Yeah, definitely. I think that I'm very much into the experience of life, and I think that comes from me being an artist and a musician. And I really have been writing songs since I was so small, and it's really all I really do, well. And it's just a part of my growth as a person. I think after my third album, Loose, I had essentially been touring for about 10 years. I mean, my first album came out, I was all of, 20 years old or something. And then by the end of that tour, which was obviously a big, huge world tour, a big success, I just felt like I needed to slow down, really enjoy my family, be home. I mean, it was fun traveling and all that. And, we definitely traveled the world like gypsies with my baby. But then it was time to kind of come home. And from that, I learned a lot. I mean, I started my own label, Nelstar Records. And on this label, I released my first Spanish language release. Just by chance, I started working with a great Canadian musician, Alex Cuba, and we ended up writing the whole album. And before I knew it, I was standing at the stage at the Latin Grammys winning an award for the album, and I just couldn't believe it. So I really feel like when you follow your heart, you always end up in the right place, more so than ever when you're a songwriter. And so now, all of a sudden, I've got a whole brand new English album, and I just kind of let life happen, and the music does the rest.
So how's Nelly the mom now?
Nelly the mom's great. I mean, definitely, geez, being a mom has brought so much joy to my life. I really think it's enhanced my career in that before I had a family, it was a little more like a leaf floating down the river, loving music, but not having the focus. And now I've really got, my private life and my career, and I really cherish both so much.
Is being a mom, does that make you a different decision maker? Are there things you won't do or you will do now?
Are you kidding? Yeah, I mean, I've got to set an example for my daughter, and I really feel like, for instance, on this album, I mean, it's a very fun album, and she's already, she's only 8, but she's already has an opinion, and
she's a songwriter too, right?
Kids will tell you when they don't like something, and so you definitely want to please the ones at home, and yeah, she's so musical. Totally so musical.
She literally does sit down and write songs from time to time, you're saying.
Yeah, she just kind of, she's musical. She plays instruments, violin, piano, and I was much more of a ham, you know, just kind of a show-off. She's not like that. She's very cool, but it's interesting and fun for me, yeah.
Well, that's good. We've got some great collaborations.
We celebrate music a lot. Sorry, we went on a trip to Kenya actually this year because I don't know. I'm an ambassador for Free the Children.
Right. Yes.
Actually wearing the
I
Me to We
noticed
bracelet.
the Me to We bracelet. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and she came to Kenya this year, and we had such a great experience. And part of that was music. You know, sharing songs with the girls at Kisaruni High School, the high school that I have a connection with, starting the new school, Olaleshwa, and having her just be around all the songs and all the traditional Maasai dances and songs, and being able to share that with all her friends back home. So
it's a great education for her.
Music's a great thread, yeah.
Well, it's a trip of a lifetime for her, and all the work that you do for that. Thank you so much. Thanks for chatting with us. I know we're going to get to your songs pretty soon.
Good to see you. Nelly will perform not one, two of her songs after the break, including her hot new single, Big Hoops.